What's going on, YouTube? It's Matt Faircloth. Thank you for watching this YouTube channel. Welcome, Justin. How are you, man?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. And who do we got today, man? Who's joining us?
Oh, today we have Robyn joining us. Robyn, come on in. Hey, Robyn, how are you?
Robyn.
Hi, thanks, Justin. Thanks, Matt.
Robyn, tell me, my friend, what can I do for you?
Well, my question was that I own 31 doors.
Okay.
And currently I'm having, thank you, I am having all of my tenants deposit their rents into a LLC bank account.
Personally, like they're going to the bank and they're like, I want to put this rent into ABC LLC account.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Okay. I already hate that. I already hate this, but go ahead.
Well, I have a regional bank and my are in a couple of different counties and a couple of different local, but a couple different counties. So this bank has locations all over. So I use a one bank. And then from the LLC, I immediately move that money into either one of three accounts. One is my personal savings. Two, my personal checking account. And three, a DBA, doing business as, and use that as an operating account to pay everything, you know, the handyman, the charge card, etc.
Got it.
So searching online, and I was listening to a group and I was told that that was the wrong thing to do. Started searching more, and thankfully I found you.
And I got your back, man. I got your back, Robyn. Don't be doing that no more, man. Okay. So have you come across, Justin, come on in, because this would be a good conversation. Have you come across issues, Robyn, where a tenant was like, I deposited my rent, Miss Landlord, and you're like, I don't see it coming to your account, into my account. Have you come into discrepancy issues on payments into the account yet?
I have not, because my bank's portal, I can see their deposit slips, and on their deposit slips, I have them put the address 123. I do a double check. So 123 comes in. If I don't see it by the fourth day, I'm like, hello.
Okay. Right. Where you at? Right. Yeah. How do you own the properties? Do you own them under the LLC 123 LLC? Let's just call it, for this conversation, I shall dub this LLC 123 LLC. Right. Okay.
Not Batman and Robin.
No, I love that though. Oh, we could have some fun with that. Okay. 123 LLC. That will, let's just say that's it. Is 123 LLC the owner of all these properties, or are you personally the owner of all these properties?
Neither. I have them all in a land trust, different land trust.
Man, that is a complicated structure, but it's good. Land trusts are awesome. It actually got more land trusts are great, but I never got into it because they can be complex. For those of you guys watching, what's great about a land trust, it is darn near impossible to figure out who's behind it if you don't want to, because it's not a publicly filed document, correct, Robyn? I mean, like, you've got a trust agreement that says who the trustee and the beneficiary are, but you've got, you know, it's not publicly filed to where somebody could discover who the owner is behind it. That's number one. Number two, you kind of settle that this is talking legal talk now, but you celebrate what's called beneficial interest from what's called equitable interest, right? So the trusts are amazing. I know nothing about it. You guys just call Batman and Robyn here if you want to learn more about it. Not something that I know much about.
555-1212.
Right. There you go. Right. She'll tell you more. Yeah. $100 an hour to tell you, for Robyn's consulting fee. Okay. You own them all in one land trust.
No, in separate land trust.
Individually. Okay. Do you have partners on these properties, or are you and a spouse or anybody like that? Or is anybody outside of a spouse of yours owners of these properties? That's what I want to ask.
There is no one other than myself and spouse.
Okay. Got it. Okay. What you're doing is not a bad thing with her. If you're okay with depositing that money into the bank like that, that would give me agita and sleep deprivation, I think. But if you're okay with that, you can keep doing that, because you're giving automation to the tenants. You can call them, and if you're able to do that, that's fine. There are other systems out there that can go and pull the money out of the tenant's bank account, or they can pay online onto a portal. In that they can pay electronically through a system. Now, how are you doing your accounting? QuickBooks or
Wave.
Okay, so tell me I'm waving. Tell me how to do
Wave
it.
is a free accounting tool.
I thought she's saying wave at me, and I'll tell you. No, okay.
Raise your hand, Matt. Okay.
Yeah, right. I've never heard of that, but is that like a QuickBooks-y kind of thing?
It is. It's an online app and computer, and it's no charge. And I'm really liking it. I've used a couple of them, and
love it.
Seems very easy. I can categorize every expense.
Okay.
And it doesn't calculate my income just because I'm not pulling it in. I'm just doing that separate. But all my accounting for all my expenses is coming right out of using Wave.
Okay. So let me ask Matt, just if you can explain a little further what you don't like about the tenants depositing into that bank account. What is it that you want?
I think that it's more work than what I think that you figured out how to hack it and make it easy enough for yourself. But if you scale, and if you want, I mean, I assume you want to scale and do more doors or whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. If you scale at some point, going through bank statements and looking at those deposit tickets to see, did 123 Main Street pay? Did 134 Second Street pay? Did this place, to this pay, to this place pay? Is going to cause you more of an accounting nightmare than a lot of these online systems that can do it, that will automatically print you delinquency reports like that, because the tenants no longer have to go to the bank. The tenants can set up a online access to just pay their rent, and the system will tell you who paid, who didn't pay. It'll automatically calculate fees for you. It'll automatically charge out those things, and it'll make it less. My guess is you having to go through those bank statements, you've probably figured out a way to do it really fast, but it still sounds like that would be a lot of work as you scale. And I try and think about, where I want to go in my business, and I try and run things as if they were that way. And if you got yourself up to 100 doors, it sounds like that would be somebody's gig, like on between the 3rd and the 8th of each month, going through all those bank tickets to make sure that each individual person paid. So what do you think?
The only issue I have, and this might be not apropos to your group, but I do have a lot of people that just pay in cash, deposit in cash. And that
you can do that. We got away from that. They're now
service type jobs that they have, construction and things. They're
fair enough.
Cash, they deposit in cash.
You can do that. You can do that. We haven't gotten into the another thing I don't like about what you're doing is the way that you're breaking up the cash flow when it comes in the door. But you can. I can get over that, and then I'll talk to you about. Well, we can just speak to that in a second. At the end of the day, it's all your property, so you can do what you want with the rent once it comes in. So that's we can get to that in a minute. The people paying cash thing, in that, I mean, you could let them keep walking into your bank, and that then you would minimize the amount of receipt checking you have to do. If you wanted to get completely away from that cash receipt option is altogether, there are online portal systems that let people pay their rent online, that people can walk into a CVS, a Walgreens, a check cashing spot, or whatever, and they can put their rent into your account for a $10 fee.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
Look at it. So here are the services. Cozy's one. Paylease is another one. Appfolio is a fully integrated accounting system, and sitting at 30 doors, you're probably getting to the point where Appfolio might make sense. Appfolio is going to cost you somewhere around $300 to $400 a month. But it is a fully integrated accounting system. It has a work order function. So if tenants have work order issues, they can issue their work orders online. And then Appfolio will disperse who does what for you and everything like that. What I hear here, Robyn, is that you are, and first of all, man, you've hit the promised land for a lot of folks would like to get to 31 doors, and you've been able to work your way up to get there. What I think is that you are operating in some ways as if there are people that have 5 to 10 doors. You're still operating like that. So you've hit the level where, I mean, let me ask you, what's next for Robyn? Do you want to get to 100, or do you want to keep cash flow in the 31 you got and live life, or are you looking to grow?
I'm actually going in a different direction. So it's kind of off topic, but looking at doing some construction development and setting up a company. So
you need to automate what you got. You got to automate that portfolio if you want to get into a new thing, which is great. If you can take that real estate portfolio you got and compress the time that it takes to manage it, an online portal will likely help you quite a bit with that.
Is there any legal reason why I can't go from my 123 LLC and then just disperse that money into, say, my own personal checking? And should I change my DBA account, my operating account, to an LLC? Is there pros and cons?
Well, I would do it to an LLC. Here's what I would do. I would set up a management company, LLC. Call that 123 Robyn's Management Company, LLC, and call it whatever, property management. Okay.
Okay.
So it's clear this is a PM company. Now, you don't have to have a broker dealer, like a real estate broker's license, because it's only managing your stuff. Do not go start managing other people's real estate for them. Okay. Because if you do, you got to have a real estate broker's license. Okay. Only manage your stuff. Then that rent comes into that PM account, LLC. And because you and your spouse own it, you can take that money that comes in and do what you want with it, man. And pay to your sub LLCs, pay to the operating account, everything like that. I just think that the whole thing of a third, if you're left at the end of the month with enough cash in that DBA operating account, if you're left with enough money sitting in there that you got some rainy day money and some padding and everything like that, then I'm fine with it. But a third sounds like more than I would be okay pulling down, because I would want to start operating that PM company, LLC, like business, to where it should have its own coffers, its own savings, and be its own entity, and to where it's okay to have, a big chunk of cash sitting in that LLC account, and then view your personal account as over here. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't bleed it all the way down. And if you're not bleeding it down at a third, then great. But if you are taking most of the cash out of that account, then I probably would.
I am. I'm taking it all out because I'm concerned with anybody having a bank account and bank account number. It's easy to pull money out of there also.
Yeah, now there you go. And that's
why
somebody would have to break the law. I don't want to go there, but somebody would have to break the law if they wanted to go in. If one of your tenants now has your ABA number and your bank account number, now they could go in there and they'd have to forge your signature and pretty much pretend to be you.
Correct.
But with a fake ID and the willingness to forge your signature, they could take the money out of that account. That'll put them, behind bars for 3 to 10 years. Right. Three hots and a cot for 3 to 10 years right there. Right. And their rent would go to zero. Right. They wouldn't have to pay rent anymore. I do think that you are exposing yourself with that many people having your banking information on a regular basis. Right. So that's why I would consider an online system that'll automatically draw the money out. They can automatically submit work orders, especially if you want to get into a new thing, So Justin, what do you think?
I think you covered it, man. I will say I've used Cozy. I use that for my rentals. You like it? And
I've never used it.
I still use it, and on our smaller deals, and it works great. Money comes in and it hits the bank account, and honestly, I don't ever have to log into it, and it just works. And I think you can get your money faster. You pay like $2 or $3 a month to get your money faster, or otherwise it's a week delay or something. But it's nice because everything is organized, and you can export that out for I'm sure it integrates with Wave, or it comes down to a CSV that you can upload into Wave. And that might help you out as well.
Okay.
But Cozy's great. You can also do tenant screening through it as well. So I'm not sure what you're doing for that, but it's sort of more.
How are you doing that
in the rest of the process?
Well, how are you doing tenant screening? That's a great point, Justin.
I do have a company that I work through and have been using for about 3 years now.
What are you paying?
You're going to be surprised. Only $15 a piece. And I have
right. But that's about what the other services are. I want to make sure you weren't going to pay more.
I'm not paying. I have the tenant pay, and it's all online. So I like the ease of, they apply online. They get the authorization online. They debit their card online. I just get the results.
No, and that's so the other systems are that way too. But let me paint a scenario. With AppFolio, when they apply for your apartment, it's going to make them put in their name, their social, their stuff, right? If they approve, you just click approve, and AppFolio will take that data, pull it, and drop it into their lease for you, and then they can DocuSign, the lease.
That's real nice.
Yeah. So you don't have to go and manually move that data from here to here. It's a tenant entry, and it just creates the lease for them and everything. So
it's kind of an off question from what you just said. So if you have someone DocuSign, are you saying that you never meet your tenant?
Yeah, you'll get, yeah, that's, we've gotten to that point. Yes.
How do you get comfortable with that? Not seeing someone
Well,
face and kind of reading them, so to speak, not judging.
Well, Justin and I have a property management company that deals with our rentals and that. So we just can't, we've been able to graduate to the level where we're just not hands-on with tenants anymore per se, but the PM will likely do that. But when it comes down to the fundamentals that really determine whether or not a tenant will pay their rent on time, there are factors. It's, employment. You really can't, obviously, and I know you're not saying this, but you can't be like, well, how many kids do you have? Okay, discrimination, can't ask that. Where do you go to church again? Nope, can't ask that either. What color are you? Oh, okay, right. You can't, it's all stuff you can't ask anyway, right? But with a good rental application that they have to fill out, with good job stuff, with crime, with checking a criminal background check, and good research on their rental application, you should be able to get yourself to a yes or a no in that. So Justin and I have been able to develop good rental standards with our property managers that with that, we're comfortable. I see you as like you went from here to here and you're about to go to here. Right. And to do that, you need to take some of the systems that worked when you were this big. And now you're this big now, right? Mm-hmm. But you were this big and you're still doing some things like you were when you were this big, right? And you got to act like you're this big now as a company because you're about to get this big. And I don't want to see you get this big still doing stuff like this. You follow me? Yeah. Okay. What's that?
It takes too much time.
Hey, well, you're not going to scale out. Right. And you're going to be left dealing with $15 an hour BS. When you should be dealing with $2,000 an hour stuff this big. Yeah. You follow me?
Robyn, you may be getting to the point where you want to look into a local management company. Even though I know your rentals are nearby, it might be worth it as you start to scale, if that will allow you the time and energy to sort of leave this stuff behind and focus on the next property and the next property. And you've got a system that works, obviously, for acquiring property. So why not focus on that? You might want to start transitioning property management out of your to-do list.
I went a different direction, but that's a good idea. I hired in-house. I did the LLC thing, management company, and then 30 doors, not to get into your stuff there, but you could probably peel off a few bucks to pay someone part-time to do some of the stuff you don't like to do anymore, like bookkeeping or, property management, meeting tenants, whatever you think that like, man, I hate doing that side of business. There's somebody out there, whatever you hate doing, there's somebody out there that loves doing it and could feed. What's that?
Bookkeeping.
Me too. Hey, it takes one to know one, right? But there are people out there that believe it. These are Looney Tunes people, but they love it and they love numbers, right? And so they'll for not that much money, you could pay them to keep your books and that comes off your plate. And then that's what I did. I started to sub out the things I hated. And then before you knew it, I was able to do the things I liked only, and then I was able to scale that much faster. So consider either hiring a third-party PM, like Justin said, and then relinquishing most control over to them, or bringing somebody in to help you.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I like.
There you go.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to answer my question. It really helped.
That's what we got, guys. Thank you for watching here.
Right.
See
you later.
Think, Justin? Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Have a great profitable week.
week.
See ya.